Liz Cheney is partnering up with these people called Keep America Safe. And they're going to attack the heart of our legal system. In our legal system, lawyers represent good guys and bad guys, defendants, and of course we have prosecutors that represent the state. And we don't blame the lawyers for representing the bad guys. That's their job. Right? That's how our system is set up. That's our justice system. But of course, Liz Cheney, Dick Cheney, and apparently the people that Keep America Safe don't believe in our justice system. They are un-American, quite literally. So what they're going to do is they say, oh, there were 9 guys at the Justice Department who once represented detainees. Yes, because they're lawyers that have this area of expertise. Now they're representing us. Isn't that a good thing? No. They are the Al-Qaeda 7. They put together an ad. Watch.
The pendulum is starting to swing. America run by progressives is really, it's about to happen. We're going to be looking for people who share our values.
So who did President Obama's Attorney General Eric Holder hire? 9 lawyers who represented or advocated for terrorist detainees. Who are these government officials? Eric Holder will only name 2. Why the secrecy behind the other 7? Whose values do they share? Tell Eric Holder, Americans have a right to know the identity of the Al-Qaeda 7.
Yeah, that is nothing short of disgusting. Whose values do they share? That's the question that was asked. So presumably, if you're a lawyer working within the American justice system and you defend the bad guys, you share their values. That is the obvious implication there. The Al-Qaeda 7? So if you represented Jeffrey Dahmer, you're a cannibal? If you represented Tim McVeigh, you want to blow up federal buildings? No, they're lawyers. But they're not stupid. They're the bad guys. They're the un-American people. They believe in a system, they'd probably be thrilled in one of those dictatorial countries, whether it's North Korea, Saudi Arabia, whatever it might be, where nobody gets a defense. Defense? What name so? No, the state decides if you're guilty or innocent, and that's it. You're done. Okay? They would love what Mahmoud Ahmadinejad is doing. In fact, Ahmadinejad, they'd call him soft. He sometimes gives people trials. Oftentimes he gives them trials. You might not agree with the trials and the results, but, too soft for Liz Cheney. So now she's gone too far. And Paul Mirengoff, who is a conservative I've debated online before, is ridiculously conservative. They do power line. These are the guys who think George Bush was brilliant, was a genius we couldn't understand, okay? They labeled this attack, quote, an attack that goes too far. He said, it's McCarthyite. Actually, he said, Joseph McCarthy had a point. There were communists, and he was trying to figure out who they were. So you get a sense of how conservative Mirengoff is, okay? He's like, this is worse than McCarthy. Okay, so now Condoleezza Rice's former legal advisor, John Bellinger, called it unfortunate. Ted Olson, who worked for the Bush administration as one of their top lawyers, said it is antithetical to American values. So Liz Cheney's gone so far off the deep end that she's even lost some of the most stringent conservatives in the country. Because that's exactly what it is. That's why I've always called it un-American. It's antithetical to American values to say that the lawyers who represent the bad guys are the bad guys, that they are the Al-Qaeda 7. And by the way, the Justice Department was like, oh, you want to know who they are? Here's their names. Who cares? But we're not trying to hide anything. What the hell are you talking about? Okay, you asked, we gave you the names. That's it. Ridiculous. So now Liz Cheney is going to go on with the Washington Times. It was a joke conservative paper. And they're going to give her a softball interview and try to have her explain. But notice, as you listen to this clip, she never actually answers the question. Watch.
Liz, good morning. So you released a fairly provocative ad, I have to say, and you asked the question, whose values does Eric Holder share? In your view, whose values does he share?
Well, what the ad does, and actually it doesn't question anybody's loyalty, what the ad does is it says there are 9 lawyers in the Justice Department who used to represent al-Qaeda terrorists, and the Attorney General will only tell us who 2 of them are, and we want the American people to have the right to know who the others are. Now, as a result of the ad, yesterday, the Justice Department confirmed the identities of the other 7, but they still won't tell us whether these lawyers who used to represent terrorists are working on detainee issues now inside the Justice Department. And we believe that the American people deserve transparency and deserve to know the answer to that question.
And I think they do, but your ad does raise the question, whose values does Eric Holder share? Who would you say?
Well, I think that he believes that you can defeat terror, you can win this war we're engaged in by treating terrorism like law enforcement. And I think that that's clearly incorrect. We've been down that path before. He said to the Senate in a letter he sent up in which he confirmed that there were these 9 lawyers, that hiring lawyers who used to represent terrorists is just the same as hiring lawyers who used to represent white-collar criminals to work in the Justice Department.
Well,
I think that tells you a lot about his perspective on this.
Well, first of all, you didn't answer the question. So you asked the question of whose values does he share? You're obviously implying Al-Qaeda, right? But you won't say it because even you realize, God, that sounds so heinous to say. I can't bring myself to say it, even though I'm a Cheney. Okay? And then number 2, she tries to distract you with, oh, he's treating it like a law enforcement matter. Well, I guess she agrees with Glenn Beck. Glenn Beck said, you know what you do is once you have him, you shoot him in the head. In fact, several Fox commentators have said that on occasion. And so that's the conservative idea. No, you don't do United States justice system. You don't do law enforcement. You just grab people and you shoot them in the head. You know, hopefully you got the right guy. I mean, we hope. But you probably do. I mean, trust the government. The government always does the right. Wait a minute. I thought they said the government couldn't do anything right. Well, if the government can't do anything right, how do you know the government has the right person before you shoot him in the head? Before you give him a trial? No, government can't do anything right unless, of course, it's the Defense Department or it's war. They do war great, right? Your pops did a great war in Iraq, right? He had those genius ideas. Oh, yeah, let's stir up the Hornets' nest. Let's get the Sunnis and the Shiites against each other. That'll be awesome. Oh, Iraq is 60% Shiite, so they're more likely to be allies with Iran? No, it's not that government can't do anything right. It's that your dad couldn't do anything right when he was vice president because he was pathetic. He was the worst vice president in United States history. You shouldn't be out there gloating about it. You should be embarrassed. You should get back in that bunker that he lives in. His clown, paranoid mind wanders. Oh, my God. You know, he's got a hazmat suit. I always go back to that. He's got a hazmat suit in his back seat. Oh, they're coming to get me. They're coming to get me. Oh, my God, what if there's a chemical attack? Oh, my God, hurry up. Let's go in the bunker. Whose values do they share? Go climb in the bunker with your dad. Okay, you're an embarrassment to this country.